Both of the lakes around here are very large and have confirmed alligators, very large alligators in them. So I don't think it's out of the question that like there's a potential that they're in here.
If we can get to it.
If you thought we were stupid before,
well,
you're really gonna think this is real.
Saddle up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the straightest thing in Texas, but it gives you an idea.
How y'all doing?
Mona, are you ready? Are you ready for adventure?
Welcome back to Candy Adventures. I'm Chris.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And in case you were wondering, a Honda Ridgeline is technically a truck, and it will fit a two-person tent in its bed comfortably for a night of camping in Texas.
Very Steve Wallace style.
Exactly Steve Wallace style. There's not a lot of public land in Texas, so we found a little bitty corner here so we could explore some more land this week.
We are finding ourselves on the opposite side of Texas than where we were last video, which was West Texas.
So this is the corner of the third piece of property we're looking at, and you can see down here, that's the Pecos River. And in case you're wondering why my hair looks amazing, yes, we did wake up about 30 minutes ago and let the dog out. She slept in the back of the car. And so today we're gonna take you on a little trip because our transmission's down and our tax, our F-250 that left us stranded in the mud, much like the never-ending story horse. That's fourth gear, and here's fifth gear or overdrive, and there's nothing living in there, so. And we are currently in our Honda Ridgeline with a tent. We are rock bottom in all of our solutions to continue to make adventure videos. Rock bottoming. You're rock bottoming. I am.
So when that truck is out, that means no camper or the travel trailer. So Honda Ridgeline it is, truck not truck.
Let's show you what we're working with. So our F-250 is currently down. We got our old trusty oil drippy transmission, drippy high mileage Honda Ridgeline here as our backup. The F-250 did end up needing a remanufactured transmission. We couldn't find anybody to rebuild one. We did find a remanufacturer with a warranty, so we're currently waiting on that to come in, and our credit card is just absolutely taking a punch to the kidneys in the last month. A lot of you guys didn't like that we were on the border of Mexico last video and thought that was a terrible idea. I thought that property is freaking awesome, and I still think
It's beautiful.
I still love that property. Absolutely in the middle of nowhere, but a lot of you guys said that's a terrible idea. So just to placate you guys, we found a different border. The border with Texas and Louisiana, which is where we currently are.
And is it just as dangerous?
I don't know. What I'm thinking of is, if this was Florida, I know that would be full of alligators. I don't know how alligatory this water is. This creek is obviously higher than it normally is. As you can see, some picnic tables, and there's water everywhere. So it's not normally this high. So maybe it's a much smaller creek normally, and it's not so alligator heavy.
Yeah.
But I'm more worried about alligators than anything at this current property.
Both of the lakes around here are very large and have confirmed alligators, very large alligators in them. So I don't think it's out of the question that like there's a potential that they're in here.
Also, I hear gunshots here. I didn't hear a single gunshot the whole time we were in the Mexican border.
But there's popping off everywhere
That's
around
true.
here.
But we did find this property. It's about 15 acres, give or take. There's several properties right here together, and they're all beside this very pretty little river. And this river is very high. Apparently, it's normally a sandy bottom, and it's normally very clear water. And the only thing that have a brown tinge to it because of the tannins that are in the water. But it's about
From all the pine trees.
It's about 15 acres, so we're going to walk around on it a little bit and see if it's all in this floodplain or if it's something we'd be interested in buying. It's in the same price category as the last. We're looking at stuff all like sub $100,000.
And owner financed.
So let's take a look around together and kind of stretch our legs from sleeping in the back of a Honda Ridgeline last night and see what we find. Our little animal here is going to be our camera operator for today. We've tried this before and we broke a GoPro doing it, but this time, hopefully it'll work out and she can kind of be our little camera operator.
This time it won't break a GoPro.
Who knows? So this piece Reminds us very much of North Carolina. A lot of pine needles and very dense vegetation.
A lot of the plant species are also similar. Like this region of Texas has a lot of pine plantations. Like loblolly pine is very popular in North Carolina, and they grow that here too, which is just a very straight, fast-growing pine tree. There's holly in here, there's sweet gum, there's blackjack oak, a couple different oak species in here. So wide variety of trees and food sources for deer and pigs, which are allegedly very prevalent on this property, according to the real estate agent. So it's, I guess, mostly used for hunting, or has been in the past, and is expected to be in the future for whoever purchases it.
Very different from the part of Texas where we currently live in Corpus Christi, and very, very different from the property we looked at last video.
Do you miss this? Do you miss this thick underbrush?
No. I grew up in North Carolina with a super dense brush like this. And to be honest, it kind of makes me feel claustrophobic. You know, you can only see like 30 feet in front of you. Even in the winter, it's just stuff everywhere. I would like to find a happy mid-ground between absolute desert with nothing and then just so thick you can't even see. But hopefully we can find the river on this property, because that's the big selling point for us. Even though it's very thick, you know, we could thin this out hopefully at some point if that's something in the cards. But I'm really interested to see the river on this.
She's swampy.
So this water is not on the map. The river should be another 5-10 minute walk the other direction, but we saw this water shining through the trees, so it is in a floodplain for sure, because none of this is on any of the imagery or maps that we looked at. So that could be an issue if you're trying to get a septic system put in for our RV or anything like that. Maybe the high water level here may be an issue. That's a bust. So our transmission's down. We're into our rickety old Honda Ridgeline, and this property we can't seem to find the river that's on it because it's all surrounded by a swamp.
So we can't access the river because it's just a floodplain in between where we are and the actual river access. So online we originally thought like, oh, this property would be so cool because you can go straight to the river and you could like float or tube down or use like a small craft to go up and down, because it's wide enough and the flow is really good, but you can't even touch it.
No, it's all the main stem of the river. We haven't even seen it. We've been walking back here for an hour now and just busting brush, and it's just a bayou back here. It's a very, very shallow, muddy bayou covered in mosquitoes.
It would take a lot of work. We'd have to have a 3-day weekend, 1 day of driving to come up here, and then you'd be cutting trails for a full day and then 1 full drive back. So it'd be a lot of work just to even try to make it possible to
We
enjoy.
work 6 hours away from here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've mentioned that. We work in Corpus Christi, and that's about 6 hours drive from here. Originally, we didn't tell you the story why I originally bought a toy hauler. We originally bought a toy hauler so that we could take a job in the deserts of Arizona and California, and then
Nevada.
In the last few weeks before we were supposed to pack everything up and move to that job in the toy hauler, the government didn't hand the contracts to the company we were supposed to work for, and instead of them finding us something else like they said, they ghosted us, and that has left us high and dry with the toy hauler. So anyway, a little rant out of the way.
That was the original purpose why we got it. We thought we were going to be living out of a camper out west, so we needed something with a toilet, something a little bit bigger, and we were going to be pretty well off after that gig and be able to buy property. Now we're still trying to make the property happen without that, with the toy hauler.
Which means we have to keep our jobs in Corpus Christi. Before,
Correct.
When that original purchase happened, which was just a couple months ago, we were going to be full-time RV living again and be able to break from our physical location jobs in Corpus Christi and be more mobile again.
Yeah, some people recommended looking at other states, and like we would absolutely love that, but we don't have jobs there, and we have to have jobs in order to continue filming and supporting ourselves.
We really like Corpus Christi, but filming travel content gets difficult because and adventure stuff.
It's so far out from everything else.
Yeah. So we're going to get back to our Steve Wallace camp setup and figure out what we're going to do tonight. I think we have another property we're going to go check out, and then we got to find somewhere to sleep tonight.
Well, we drove an hour to the second piece of property we were going to look at, and one, from the road, we can tell that it's flooded on most of it, and two, it's so overgrown that I don't think we'd be able to walk through it.
Yeah, there's nothing to film. There's nothing to show you on camera on that one. Today's been a pretty big letdown, from the transmission blowing out of the other truck, the property being basically a bayou that we drove 6 hours to see on our one day off.
Then the second property not even being accessible.
So I'm going for a little treat, circus peanuts.
When the last time you had one of those?
Like 20 years, probably 25 years. A banana flavored orange peanut shaped candy that contains no peanuts. It's orange colored and banana flavored.
Is it like a marshmallow?
No, it's
its own thing.
That's its own thing.
It looks like Nerf foam.
Absolutely delicious. Yeah, it's like banana flavored Nerf foam. It's for some reason shaped like a peanut, colored like an orange, and flavored like a banana.
That is what I feel like biting into Nerf foam would be like.
It's not though. Nerf foam is much chewier. So we are in an interesting place. If you can see there, I'm from Appalachia, and in the Appalachian Mountains, you see that commonly trailers stuck up on pylons like that or cinder blocks, and that's to get them level because the earth is not level in the mountains. And here it's because you see right here, there is a little sign saying that it floods often. And
5 feet high.
So we left East Texas, Northeast Texas, up near Louisiana, and we have came back down here in Southeast Texas, just outside of Corpus Christi, and we're looking at some properties here on a river, and it's all in a floodplain, because remember, we're shopping on a budget here.
Yeah.
So we went from one swamp, and now we are in a different swamp.
This one is like, it's not flooded all the time or even like part of the season. It's just, if it were to flood, it's gonna flood a lot. I didn't realize how high these trailers or these houses on this road are off of the ground. It's not just a little bit, it's not a few feet, it's like 6 or 8 feet high off of the ground.
But no restrictions.
And owner finance.
And we're talking like $50,000 price range is what we're looking at here. So
both of these, the one that we just showed you out the window and this one that we're going to go look at, you can actually access the Nueces River, which is a 315-mile long river.
If you follow this river all the way up, it gets very clear and blue and very pretty. This part of the river is full of alligators and is muddy. But again, it puts it in our price range.
Yeah, it does. It does.
All right, we found a for sale sign.
As you can see, the weather is not great, but we're still going to explore nonetheless.
And there's the dilapidated structure. Right beyond that is the Nueces River.
You're experiencing this with us for the first time because we've never seen this.
Let's go check it out. It looks like it has some sort of plumbing coming down underneath it. I wonder if, I assume it has a septic.
So based off of Chris's height, how far this is off the ground,
about 6 foot off the ground.
7 feet above your head to the actual house is another foot maybe.
And what I have noticed is a lot of the stuff in this area
Slanted.
is not straight. It's all leaning. This is leaning really hard. I don't know if the ground's just that unstable. Everything just eventually shifts, but that's kind of eerie.
We were told that this structure is basically right on the property line, and this tan elevated structure is actually another piece. They just kind of are really close together. Whoa, it has a spiral staircase. Wow. I don't know if we're gonna be able to go inside.
Now, I'm not the straightest thing in Texas, but it gives you an idea of how crooked some of this stuff is.
Yeah.
But we're not interested in this for this building. It's a piece of property that touches a river and maybe something we could put our camper on.
I mean, I guess if it's this elevated, it gives you like dry space underneath for anything.
I wouldn't put anything I loved or cared about underneath. This is
That's fair.
leaning pretty hard.
That's fair.
Let's go check the river out and see what that looks like.
First looks.
All right, there it is.
It is a river. It's kind of green, green blue. That looks maybe like it used to be a dock of some sort.
Long time ago. So that is cool. Right here on the water like that.
It's actually a really wide piece of water. I thought it was going to be more like a narrow creek or something. This is actually
Looks
pretty
like
substantial.
like it's an island right in front of us.
Ooh.
Now there are alligators in here. Alligators, alligator gar. For years and years, I wanted a mokai. We'll put up some footage of what a mokai is. It is a little air-cooled, basically a lawnmower engine kayak that is a jet drive. I've wanted one for years. They're very portable. They only weigh like 100, 150 pounds. And for years, I've wanted an excuse to purchase one. And this river would be an amazing excuse to buy some mokais.
So Chris just has the drone up because we're trying to show the property and the river. And while he's flying, I'm just standing here and it's so quiet and all you hear are ducks and birds and there's like, it feels like there's space to breathe even though it's not like a full acre or anything, and we're like about 30 to 45 minutes outside of Corpus. Like it feels just a little bit more remote, a little bit more open. I kind of like it.
I'm very interested in this island straight in front of us, which is a little more apparent on the drone, is a very small island straight in front of you. That's very neat.
Chris has always wanted a zip line, a backyard zip line. I feel like you could, hypothetically, maybe zip line over to an island.
We were contemplating getting up in here, and the more we look at it, the more rotten it gets. You can see the main support is completely gone. I don't really want to risk it because it's just going to be rotten in there. I don't think we're going to find anything cool. But
and then that second stairway is not actually attached.
It's not attached to anything. The only thing that's halfway propping it up is this 6x6 down here that's just kind of there. So I make my decisions based upon if I think my body can survive a certain fall height or tetanus.
Tetanus.
So
also, the reward is going to be
none.
Probably be able to look through a window.
Yeah, none, probably none.
Yeah.
But we're not interested for the structure anyway. We'd probably tear this down if this was something that we ended up going with. I do very much like the river. I am very much drawn to water, and I'm very excited about that river. That river, you could get on it, and you could theoretically get in that water and get to the ocean.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting to me.
So funny enough, a couple weeks ago, I was bragging to my parents that in South Texas it was 70 degrees while they're back in North Carolina and it's like 40. And then we had this crazy winter storm wave come through and it's like the coldest it's probably been in a while, and it's 40 outside, averaging most days.
Which, being that our red F-250 is down, is also unpleasant for me because I ride a scooter to work every day, and it has been absolutely freezing for the last 2 weeks that truck transmission has been down.
Yeah.
While we're out here on our day off, we're gonna go ahead and check out what else is down this road.
What I would like to point out is that we are in the land of no restrictions, which we often look for when we're searching around for property. But, that means that anybody else can also do whatever they want with their piece.
Texas, us looking at land here, has some very unique aspects. One, most of Texas is private property. It's over 90-something% is private property. Very little public land. And two, most stuff that's sold here has covenants on it from the previous owner, and most things are sold that we've been looking at in like ranchettes, which it's like little communities where everybody has 10, 15, 20 acres, but there's almost like an HOA to it where they'll limit if you're allowed to shoot a firearm, if you are allowed to hunt, if you're allowed to put a modular home on it. And this ranchette system, we're not super big fans of. It just seems like you spend a lot of money to get freedom, and then you have HOA type rules on your life.
Yeah, the covenants can be phrased as, we're doing this to protect your investment, is the phrasing in a lot of the covenants. But some of it can get pretty restrictive, like it will say no less than 1,200 square feet if you're gonna put a building on it. So obviously they don't want tiny homes or like little cabins or anything. Like if you're going to build there, it better be like a very nice, very well-equipped full house.
How y'all doing?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
Fine.
Yeah.
Saw your video went out going down the road.
Oh, yeah. We're looking at that property for sale down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're looking at 2 or 3 properties down through here.
Okay, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I know this truck looks sketchy.
The downside to our truck looking like crap.
Yeah, it's pretty beat up, and windows are dark tinted, and it looks like a drug dealer car. And when you cruise around places real slow, I always think like
We
I
look
look
suspicious.
I look like I'm trying to steal your weed eater. I think we've been to a restaurant on this channel maybe 3 times in sum total in the 6 years we've been making videos. I really want to eat here. I've been trying to eat here. If you're not familiar, Fuddruckers is Texas-based. This is a Fuddruckers. I'm Fuddrucking excited about eating here. I haven't been to one in like a decade.
Until we started dating, and I think it was maybe the 4th date. We went on a motorcycle ride to Fuddruckers, and that was years ago.
There's 2 restaurants that are very controversial that I love. Long John Silver's, of course, is high up on that list, and then also Fuddruckers, and they're also very hard to find in a lot of parts of the country.
Yes, because most of them have closed down. There's only a few left. I would say the other controversial one we like is Little Caesars, but that's far more prevalent.
So I'm ready to go in here and ruck some FUD and discuss a little bit about these properties and which ones we kind of like and which ones we kind of don't. And
Pros and cons.
Little pros and cons about what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So let's go in here and ruck some FUD.
Some flavorful nacho cheese.
Didn't expect it, but it was delicious and it was empty. That's everything I could ever expect is a cold beer, big basket of warm fries with cheese sauce, and
Big
no
juicy
people.
burger.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's a good price for the quantity of food that you get. I love Fuddruckers, but we couldn't really film and talk to you in there because they have copyright music playing all over the speaker system. So couldn't really do exactly what we had planned.
I'll be honest, so far the properties we've looked at, I like the one near the Mexican border that overlooks a canyon in the middle of nowhere. The place we looked at today and the place we looked at yesterday, both much more water, it's both swampier, but at the same time a little bit closer to civilization and other people. And I kind of want a place where we can go where I don't even hear any other people.
Yeah. I think I understand like the sentiment of being close to the border, but you can see so far. You can see for miles, and there would just seem to be more wildlife there. It felt more open.
That would be a rough place to cross the border. If I was going to smuggle drugs, you have to come across a canyon where the Rio Grande cuts through right there.
Yeah.
And it is a canyon, vertical. We showed you in the last video, there's those vertical cliffs. Like you'd have to come down a vertical cliff, cross a river, cross another river, come up another canyon or up that muddy boat ramp.
I would be more worried about us going into Mexico than for the reverse. Now, would your stuff maybe get messed with if you weren't there? Yeah. But the other places where we've been, like the one today, like the same risks.
Where I currently live, I'm worried more about someone stealing my when I'm not there than on the border where there's no people around.
Yeah, like so that risk to us is about the same. People are gonna mess with your stuff if you're not there anyway. So
you mitigate it with a guard donkey. I want a guard donkey so bad. A couple of hee-haws at night wakes you up. You know, and guard donkeys are meaner than any guard dog there is, and much stronger. So
yeah,
guard donkey, some thermal optics. I think you'll be okay.
But crazy enough, those are all like similarly priced. Everything that we've been looking at is like sort of in the same price range. So you can look at like for the same price, what are you getting out of it? And to be on a canyon, a river canyon with a bunch of wildlife, to me is more valuable than anything else that we've looked at.
So far, that's the way we're leaning, even though I know a bunch of the comments told us we're morons. A bunch of the comments tell us we're morons all the time.
Yeah.
But I think to me that was more awe-inspiring when you first step onto that property and look around. Like, it's more like breathtaking and like relaxing and quiet.
Escapism.
But we are very excited for probably next video. We've been working on this in the background for 2 or 3 months now. Is another property which is very hard to get to. You can only get to it by boat.
Yes.
And it only comes up for sale every once in a while. And
it's very limited and not a lot of people know about it.
the water has been very rough lately, and you can see it's very cold and rough and windy. It's been a small craft advisor every day we've had off work. It always lines up where the water's beautiful and clear when we're at work, and when we're on or off, it looks like this and it's rough.
Yeah.
So hopefully next video we can cross over and show you the piece I'm most excited about, and really we can explore that. But I'm very excited for that next video.
We think that you will find it very interesting because we find it incredibly unique. Very interesting,
And
if we can get to it.
If you thought we were stupid before,
Well,
you're really gonna think this is real.
saddle
bad.
up.
Yeah.
Already, if you know that it's weather dependent to access it, then it sounds like a good idea already.
All right, well, I'm very excited for next video. Hope you guys stick around, and we'll see you next time. And hopefully we have a truck that has a little bigger with a transmission and a camper on the back of it.
Hopefully it's fixed by then.
I hope, because I'm tired of commuting in the cold in a scooter. It's unpleasant. See
And
you
the
guys
rain.
next video.
Always on the road with our dog and toad, out here chasing dreams. No, we're not gonna stop. No, we never gonna stop. Are we crazy? Well, maybe, but we're doing what we love. Candy, come save me. I can't get enough. No, I'm not gonna stop. No, we're never gonna stop.